Hello, my name is Janet Madrew. I live at one.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
My name is Janet Madrew. I live at 136 Sire Avenue, and I was wondering how come the sweeper do not go down our street? There's a lot of dirt there, and there's still leaves on the road and stuff like that, and I haven't seen it for like 6-7 months now. And I don't know why they don't stop and do our road, why they do Hearn Street and Sugar Street and Sycamore and everything else, but they always skip our road, Sire Avenue. So I would appreciate if you guys keep that in mind and try to get them guys on our road to get it cleaned up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else wish to address council this evening? Okay, we'll move on. Old business, council members. Any old business needs to be discussed this evening? None? Okay. Mr. Falston, any petitions or correspondence received?
I have none, Mr. President.
Okay. New business. Mr. Trutchell.
Thank you, President Schultz. I echo the mayor and the law director's comments. I've sat next to Mr. Bonner here for at least 10 years. I'm not sure exactly how many there are. And Bill's a dedicated individual, as is Mrs. Henderson. I've campaigned with Cindy Henderson. What a leader she is when it comes to finances. What a great job you do, Cindy.
Thank you.
Over the years. I'm honored to have served with you folks. I really am. You, Mr. Schultz, your professionalism is incredible. You are a pro, without a doubt. You do a fantastic job. Mr. Morrissey, I've known Mr. Morrissey ever since I walked into this town, not only as a public official, but also as a good friend. Back when Bill was able to play golf, he was an absolute thrill to be around, as he is right now, as Joe well knows also. But I'm honored, and you know, I just don't have the vocabulary to actually tell everybody how good they are. And by the way, I added that up too. There's 80 years of experience in this bunch. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. Thank you.
Mrs. Ames.
Thank you, President Schultz. I too want to talk about the people leaving tonight. This is a bittersweet night for me. I'm excited about next term and things that I have that I want to get done, but yet I'm also a little bit melancholy about the people leaving. Mrs. Henderson and Mr. Bonner have served on numerous committees and assignments. I've worked with them, and they've been a part of decisions that have benefited this community greatly. And Mr. Schultz, prior to being on council, he was also, or prior to being president, he was also on council and then moved to president. And because of his organizational skills and ability to run the meetings, he's enabled us to be able to get our job done efficiently and in a timely manner. And Mr. Morrissey, of course, has kept the city afloat financially for years and years and years. And I am just very grateful and honored that I've had a chance to work with all of you. And because of your hard work and commitment to the city of Chillicothe, I just want to give you my deepest gratitude. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Henderson.
We all know it would be out of character if I didn't have something to say. So I tried to write it down so I could say what I wanted to say, and now I think maybe my mother is whispering in my ear, Cindy, be quiet. But I have a Christmas wish list for 2010 for all of you. And first of all, it's just been a pleasure to work with all of you. We've been through it this year. It's been tough, hasn't it? But you all have my respect and thanks. And I just want to put a plug in to remember that when we finance the aerial tower, the big ladder truck, in about another year or so, that debt will be paid for, the $1.2 million or something that we borrowed. And that was over a 5-year plan. And reminder that to remember in the back of your minds that we'll probably need 2 new engines for the fire department, and they're about $500,000 apiece. And you may have to just take that safety levy capital and recapitalize it again, and be sure you get 2 new engines, because they're in 1980s models, and the fire department's going to need to get those replaced. And that's something that I've been carrying on the back of the wish list. The only way we could afford to buy a big ticket item like that is to finance it through the safety levy capital portion. Each year we've tried to, in the last few years, get it back on a schedule where we buy 1 medic, 1 squad per year, and it is in the 2010 safety levy capital budget. I look for it and it's there. And that's simply because those squads wear out and they're used so much. Try to get one at least a year. Budget's going to be tight. When you get to the 3rd or 4th quarter of 2010, there's going to be tough decisions, but if you have to make any compromises at all in personnel, I think you need to remember that if we could add 2 more firefighters instead of cutting, we could run an additional squad, and it may very well pay for itself. Be sure to look at the cost effectiveness of that, because we're outsourcing still too many squad runs. And even if you put in 1 shift with 2 more firefighters, you could probably pay for that medic and justify giving the top quality service of our firefighters answering those calls instead of outsourcing it. So look at that cost-benefit analysis at the appropriate time. Hate to say it, but I've tried like the devil for the last 2 or 3 years to see how we could afford new garbage trucks. Remember 2.5, 3 years ago we did some massive repairs on them, and Mike Pfeiffer felt like we would probably be okay for around 3 years on those garbage trucks, where we bought new boxes or redid the brakes or the frames. We're going to need garbage trucks, and that is a general fund capital item purchase. I have some paperwork that I will turn over to the powers that be that had quotes that we needed at least $500,000 worth of service department trucks and garbage trucks that are desperately in need. And the only way that I can see or think about how we could afford it financially is an increase in a fee, perhaps a garbage collection fee. A $5 fee would bring in $500,000, and all that would do would just pay for garbage trucks. It's more and more expensive to run a service department and to run a general fund, as the mayor has said, when our income as a city, like most cities, where the income has gone down, we're at least level, but we're flatlined. And the general fund estimated revenue for 2010 is around 6.1 to 6.3 million, and that is not a big increase. It's fairly stable, and we're fortunate to look at that. But our expenses, as the mayor has expressed, the health insurance went up 12%, our employee rates went up 3%, and there's no wiggle room left. And as you all know, it was always my policy as finance chair for the last 6 years to have semi-annual budget reviews or quarterly, at least a quarterly review, and I regret, as I'm closing out my tenure, that we did not get to have a full council budget review, because there are some tough decisions. We do not know on the state level if the state local government funds are going to be level or less. There are still a lot of unanswered questions that I totally understand why the administration, we're just looking to the last to make sure that we are accounting for all the dollars or potential income that may come in. We knew when we passed the 2008 budget that the only reason the budget balanced was because we had a windfall of $1 million additional income in the estate tax area. That helped us balance it for 2009. So when you face 2010, we're $1 million less at the starting gate. And then when your health insurance costs go up another $350,000, so you're a 1.3 less than you had before. And I understand the mayor and the new auditor's conservative approach, that they just want to be totally sure that we can lock in the numbers, and some of those numbers from the state level may very well be forthcoming within the next 2 or 3 weeks, we think. But